think a lot of people are hoping that it turns into a museum, or maybe some people want it burned to the ground. I don't know.
We are on our way to a communist-inspired bar, which is pretty cool, so follow us along and check it out.
So there's a ton of coffee shops, cafes here in Tirana, but there's one place that kind of sticks out that's kind of unique, and it's the Communism Cafe Museum, and that's exactly what it is. It's a cafe slash museum, and it is super unique and just funky. There's all kinds of things in every little corner. You really need like an hour just to walk around this place. It's also kind of neat coming here after having been to the museums and seeing the mock apartments and furniture that's been set up there, because it's pretty much the same stuff you see here. Like we said, it's a museum and a cafe, so take your time when you come in here and really look at all of the TVs, the radios, all the little figurines from the 1970s. It's all here. They've done an amazing job. There's old stoves, like there's one right next to me. And another really unique thing about this place, I read that it's the only place in Tirana that has 18 different types of rakia. So if that's your thing, come here. So nice to just have a refreshing drink before we slowly make our way to dinner. So stick around for that, because we're gonna try some pretty different Albanian foods. But while we're on the way, we're gonna make a few stops and walk through some pretty historical areas of Tirana. Right around the corner from the Communism Cafe is the Pyramid of Tirana. It was supposed to be an Enver Hoxha museum, like dedicated to all of his works and all of his reign over the 40, 50 years. And I just read that it was actually co-designed by his daughter and her husband. And it said to be at the time, it was the most expensive structure ever built in Albania. Just sitting here, and they went back and forth on, are they going to tear it down, are they going to bulldoze it, are they going to keep it open, what are they going to do with it? And they've decided to turn it into this really big IT center, which is really cool. I'm glad that they're keeping these things and kind of repurposing them, you know? I mean, how much would it cost to tear something down and then build something new? So it's cool to think and see that they are repurposing this thing. From that checkpoint is Enver Hoxha's house. So where Enver Hoxha's house sits is in the area called Bloku. During communist times, it was completely blocked off to the public. Only the super elite in the party, and obviously Enver himself, lived right here. It was a place where they were allowed to have cars because they were the only ones that had cars. There were no other cars in the place. I think there was, 1,000 cars in the entire country. And they were allowed to have all kinds of nice things that the common folk couldn't have. And since then, Bloku has turned into the place to be. There's clubs, there's bars, there's really nice shops. I mean, I'm looking at, I think it's a legit Valentino store right across the street. You're not allowed to go into Enver Hoxha's house. It's blocked off. I think they're still deciding on what to do with it, but I think a lot of people are hoping that it turns into a museum, or maybe some people want it burned to the ground. I don't know, but it's here. You can come take a look at it as you're walking down.
Right across the street is a KFC built, and when you look into the living room window of his house, you can actually see Colonel Sanders' face smiling, and that makes it pretty ironic because now you've got the place of capitalism right across the street from an old communist house. KFC was actually the first chain that established a business right here. At the moment there's still no McDonald's, no Burger King, no Pizza Hut, and I'm pretty sure that's just around the corner because things are moving pretty fast and things are expanding really fast in this country.
All right, so all around Tirana, you'll see people outside or just like random scales just on the sidewalk. And basically you just give these people money and then you get on the scale and see how much you weigh. I don't know if they're supposed to guess how much you weigh, but we were told that there's a story behind it. Like maybe during communist times that they weren't allowed to do it. And so they were doing it illegally on the streets to make some extra money. So if you know the story, please let us know, because there was a story there and I need to know. Hungry, are you?
Yeah.
Alright, so our restaurant is just a little bit south of the Skinnerberg Square. In order to get there, you have to walk through the Tirana Park, and it's so nice once you get here. I have a feeling no matter what we get tonight, it's going to be delicious because we're both pretty hungry.
So all of the stuff behind me around the mountain here was built after '92, after communism fell. So that's a lot of houses and a lot of development going on in the last 30 years. And that's great. I think that's probably more than what happened during the whole time. One thing that came out of the whole communism deal and everything was they created hydroelectric power, and it's actually used still today.
So we've been looking forward to coming to this place all day, some of yesterday, because it's been recommended to us several times and it's all over online when you look up best restaurants to go to, and we found something really unique on their menu that we really wanted to try that I've never seen on the menu in the States. And we sit down, we kind of mull over the menu, and we find out that they don't have it. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. We'll keep you guessing, but we're going to continue to look for it on other menus around Albania, and hopefully we'll get a taste of this thing. But for now, we're going to say goodnight.